Welcome back to the absolute most professional StarCraft 2. I got something special for you today, as I'm able to directly introduce the 7-time GSL champion and the final contender for his team here in the World Team League for Onside Gaming. It is the man, the myth, the Maru, in the bottom left, and the top right in the blue. Thought by many to be potentially the greatest of all time in StarCraft 2. But that argument is made a little more difficult because of the existence of the Zerg player. The bottom left Eradicate station here. For Team Basilisk. It is the finisher. Serral. The only player to reliably beat Maru. Now, it's a best of 2, TVZ. What does that mean? Well, if you look at the scoreboard here, Onside Gaming has 3 points, Basilisk has 1. What that means is Serral needs to take both games, or his team will lose the match. If he takes both, we go to an ace match where either team is able to bring out whichever player they think is going to be most successful. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. If you want to watch more great games of StarCraft 2, well, you should check out the World Team League. But while you're down there, maybe you could like and subscribe here. Jimmy, what are we at? Maru versus 1,192 likes on this cast, on this video, and I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways, but thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy something a little bit different. A direct feed from the competition. Thank you again to World Team League. Sometimes there's no substitute for seeing the player's reaction. While Maru and Serral may much of the time look like gaming robots or Zen monks studying the computer screen in front of them, of course, I would argue maybe a keyboard cam. You just want to see their fingers. A keyboard cam might be just as intense, but the sheer amount of prize money represented between... I just want to take a little time. If you look between both of them, Serral has a cabinet, if you've ever watched this stream, entirely full of trophies. And behind his head are multiple World Championship trophies. I believe Maru has about half a dozen GSLs on his shelf over there. So when it comes to trophies, both these players have won over $1 million in StarCraft 2. So when you think of millionaires, there you go. As at this point, pretty comfortably so. But overall, what about this year? Maru versus Serral. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Serral's been dunking on him. All right, I don't know the exact record, but it's something like 10-2, 10-3, something like that. As Maru has not been able to hold a candle, really, to Serral's intense flame. But it is a best of 2. Maru, he hasn't looked great on the new patch, I'll be honest, as he's struggled, it seems, with adapting to any of the changes. And honestly, I haven't yet seen a match where, is he actually mining through here? Serral's going to try to open this up. Oh my god. He has it pixel perfect. He's added one spot so that way he could creep out. Wow. And that's kind of odd. Do you actually have to do that in order to get the creep to the other side? Okay, well that's kind of a weird one. Maru is going for a Liberator and Stim timing here, which definitely something more map dependent. Reticent Station, you have those closer air distances. Buddy on the ground is a much more difficult endeavor, as there's just so much sheer space out on the map to fight over. Yes, and this is direct from World Team League, who clearly enjoys the StarCraft 2 music. And of course, you know, I might say Terran is overpowered, but I might just be talking about their music. The Zerg themes can be good. The Protoss themes, quite a mixed bag. But the Terran theme itself is clearly, I think even Terrans will agree, somewhat overpowered. Some intense voice. I think we got the Chinese voices at World Team League hosted in China, but for teams around the world. Honestly, they also host the Kung Fu Cup, which has been some of the best events. So, before we get heated up here, make sure to check them out when you have the opportunity. I'll bring you the highlight games, but there's so much content. Honestly, at this point, ESL and World Team League, and Wardy, shout out to Wardy, of course, are the overwhelming majority of all StarCraft 2 content. And I'm happy to enjoy it. Serral comes in, he's going to see the double engineering bay. Radicid Station means essentially 3 bases comfortably held onto. And then, for Terran, the 4th base is the most difficult proposition. As Serral, he's thinking about Mutas, which, if there was ever a map for it, this is it. You got the space, you have both the airspace and the sheer distance between all the bases, on top of the fact that if you don't have things like mutas, you can't chase down medevacs as they run you around the map. The problem with mutas, or the problem that you can have with mutas, is how fragile they are. Like these flying papier-mâché bats that might be very angry, but that doesn't help them deal with widow mines, with marines. They don't trade very well in a straight-up fight. They're much more of an air-based bully, where they're looking to slap down inferior numbers of units or pick them off. Serral, honestly, I haven't seen too much of his muta usage. The few games I have seen were pretty rough to watch, actually. It seems like a little out of practice, but who am I to criticize possibly the best muta player in the world? It's just that mutas they're so fragile. Maybe I'm empathizing too much with the mutas. Liberator Siege is up. Maru laying on the pressure to start. Serral, 79 drones. The Liberator forces Serral to look away. He's going to lose the hatchery, essentially for free. Some Banelings coming up. Liberator re-sieges. Sporecrawl on the chase. Serral, not even... He's got 800 APM, but he's not even able to keep up with the mutas. But, Maru! Not even a turret! Oh, no. Oh, this was going so... All he needed was a turret or two. It might not have saved the day. Oh, we got picture-in-picture. So sick. Oh, and my face is... I'm sorry, I got too excited and I didn't actually commentate, but 24 workers killed. He gets the Widow Mine as well. +1 flyer attack, not even done, but so many mutas. Maru, you gotta build a turret. Okay, every Bronze League hero will tell you that. Well, they'll probably tell you to build 17 turrets and high-sec auto-tracking, but, like, a broken clock is right twice a game. So the mutas. Serral's supply is just... it was swearing at me. I believe it's, the localization of the interface is creating some interesting, little bugs there, but... So, in order, now the overlay might be in Chinese, but I think you guys have watched enough games to figure it out. You got your supply, you have your mineral income, gas income, workers, and army supply. So it's identical to the overlay I usually use, or similar. But, and I mean, if you just look at the numbers, and you can probably figure out most of it. Are those drilling claws? No, not drilling claws, but Maru jams them in between those minerals. And the Widow Mines. Serral, obviously not hyped about dealing with Widow Mines. I'm attributing a lot to his relatively passive expression, but I'm just going to go ahead and project a little bit. A creep is about halfway across the map, and right now, Serral, Infestation Pit. Now, this is the big weakness. Oh. The readjustment. I gotta stop. I can't help but look at their webcams. I feel like so much stuff on the screen. It's so exciting. But every gamer knows that. Like, all right, let's go. Serral sat up in his chair, adjusted a little bit. As soon as he dealt with the Widow Mines, he's like, all right, Hive Tech, Creep Spread, Muta Harass, let's go. So, obviously refocusing and resetting, whereas Maru, he's at 187 supply. He's recovered If he was able to deal with those mutas more cleanly, he could have set up potentially a deadly follow-up push. But unfortunately, I think the mutas did blindside him, as he wasn't able to get a scan, and he had most of his army out on the map. Good pickoff so far. Yeah, Serral working on 2-2, but Maru already on 3-3. Maru off to a great start here in our first match. Marines. All right. Embracing some of that Bronze League Heroes turrets per minute now is Maru as he builds 4 more at his natural and drops 4 Widow Mines in Serral's third. Killing a whole bunch of Zerglings, getting 5 drones, dragging much of the army back. In terms of value lost, right now it's about even. Serral still has all these bases throughout the map. A Ghost Academy is on the way from Maru. Widow Mines scattered throughout the field, which is just a dangerous... It takes 4 Widow Mine hits to kill a ball of mutas. Of course, they have to be in pretty quick succession, as those mutas heal over time. More quickly than your average Zerg, which technically heals over time, but it feels like it takes 3 years. Wish it was a percentage as opposed to a flat number. 6 more turrets on the way. Ultraless Cavern for Serral. I get it. It's a full Zerg game here. Oh. Maru is not going to be dealing with... He's got like 8 turrets in each of these bases. He's done dealing with the mutas. And I mean, each turret is only 2 Marines in cost, so... Yeah, 4 more turrets on the way. I appreciate that. Alright? You know what? I can make fun of it, but at this stage of the game, Maru needs to be able to focus on his army. You can't focus on your army when mutas are ransacking your base. That's just a science fact. Ooh. So the changelings, when they haven't yet figured out who they want to be in life, so pre-change, still count as an enemy unit. Since Widow Mines are burrowed, the changelings are targeted because they don't realize that there's Terran units to grab the scent of, or however changelings work. It is my headcanon that changelings, when they turn into the unit of Terran or Zerg or Protoss, well, I guess Zerg wouldn't matter very much, but they think they are that unit, okay? They think they're a Marine or a Zealot. They don't know they're Zerg. They're spying accidentally. All right, it's the most efficient way. Serral decides turrets don't counter Zerglings. A major weakness, and the Zergling drop comes in. And not going to be nearly as successful as the mutas earlier, but will succeed in dragging a lot of Maru's army out of position. High sec auto tracking, building armor about to complete. Another wave of turrets will be rebuilt. Serral clearing out the mines, and he's really starting to grab a lot of the map right now. He's got infestors on the way. Maru has managed to get 4-5 bases here, which is the hardest part of the late game, or the early late game at least. Early late game does sound like a bit of an oxymoron, but early late game is in, we still have huge incomes. We're still mining out with the main and the natural, and everyone's maxed out. We haven't gotten to the times when you have to start counting how many minerals are left on the map or how many bases are left untaken. It's usually just like the first max out and a few minutes past that, depending on the game. So early late game. Serral with 6,600, 3,300 in the bank. He's still sharking around with the mutas, but Serral has like 25 turrets now. So the TPM has skyrocketed. Much in the way turrets skyrocket. +3 Carapace is now done. As Serral, I believe Chitin is plating as well. Oh, snipes! Take down mutas! I'm gonna actually cut off some of the reinforcements. I think Serral is trying to trade out supply here. Maybe 10 mutas is a nice number to have at this stage of the game, but more than that is a bit of a liability, as these are not fighting units. You can't really use mutas in a fight, not if you want to have mutas in a minute from now. Caduceus Reactor. Finally! Ah! The Medevac Energy Regen upgrade with the new patch. It allows, so It doesn't allow you to heal faster, but you run out of energy less quickly. Or, well, you regenerate it twice as fast. So that means instead of needing 12 medevacs in the late game, which you don't need, nobody ever needs 12 medevacs. They'll have them, but they don't need them, in my opinion. That's 6 to 8, which Maru's 7 right now. How convenient. Is enough. And Maru's setting up at the center of the map. Now, this is where we really get down to business. All right. Serral has a huge amount of money in the bank, but Maru is getting into the ultra late game. Puns intended. A dozen ghosts, 5 liberators with advanced ballistics. He's starting to add in the hell. Serral has 100 larvae. Yeah, it doesn't sound. That's 200 Zerglings of larvae. I've never seen. There is no other. This is what Serral does better. Okay, he will never run out of larvae. His mechanics are impeccable. He's essentially a StarCraft robot. Even better than that StarCraft robot that Google made, because that was limited to like 200 APM, and Serral is not. Serral hitting 4 digits of APM here. Building 74 Zerglings and 26 Banelings. Maru fully embracing late game Terran. He's got 6 turrets, 3 mines, 6 Liberators in production. As he begins a turret push forward. The turret's partially to cover for the mutas, but also the sneak festers that Serral always seems to find. Oh my god, there's one! The infestor gets a fungal. The ghosts are in full retreat. They're able to, well, they get out of there with the medevacs, but even the observer in the game didn't know where that infestor came from. Maru gets caught off guard. There's another attack to the bottom right as well. The Zerglings will force the base to lift. A planetary will hold any extraneous ones. Maru gonna try to take the gold, but Serral has grabbed. Oh my god, just look at the creep. It's a huge map, and Serral has half of it covered in creep. There's probably like 100 creep tumors out there right now. Probably more. Larva and creep tumors. The things that really are not flashy at all. And almost never you really see except for the effects of it. But that's what Serral does. Okay? Well, Baneling's rolling in. Widow Mines getting some big hits. Liberator's taking out a whole chunk. He is throwing a meat shield out in front of his air units in order to clear out some of these Liberators. Serral will remax out. Building armor. Oh, the mutas. Unfortunately, the planetary, its head is too heavy to tilt it. What are you doing? Maru gonna try to save it with mules. Will succeed.
What a save!
What? Wow, this is going somewhat sideways here. But the base will be fully repaired. 7 drones down. Honestly, Serral, well, he's mined out of the main, working on the natural. Maru, I think, has gained some ground overall, as he was able to take out Serral's gold base, which doesn't have more minerals, but it mines more quickly, so more efficient, and grab one of his own and keep it. So Serral still hasn't yet found a real opportunity to break Maru here. Whereas Maru is slowly stabilizing, but another fungal from where? I don't even know where the infestor is, but the Banelings roll in. Oh my, another infestor out of nowhere. I think it's the one sitting next to the temple there. Still going to be a costly fight for Serral, but it seems like he didn't drop supply. No, he dropped supply. He just rebuilt it in the middle of the fight. And now Serral, 188 to 143. That fight. Maru has actually killed twice as many minerals over the course of the last battles. It's just that Serral, well, he has so much in the bank. The bank is draining. But Maru's, how? There's always an infestor. You just have to, so you have to cover the entire map in turrets. Maru does have enough orbitals in order to scan most of the map at once. I think he has like 7 or 8 right now. The ghosts, target practice on some of these Zerglings. So I love the Chinese Zerg announcer. Some of the Chinese voices, especially for the ghost dying, somehow even more dramatic. I didn't know they could get more dramatic, but here we are. So things slowed down as now we reach the true late game, when the minerals and gas are starting to dry up. You can no longer send thousands of resources of units at one another and replenish them regularly. There is maybe one more army left to rebuild. And then we get down to doing a lot more math, which is scary. Count on it. Zerglings, Banelings heading towards the planetary while Maru strikes at the gold base of Serral, a base trade of the most valuable bases on the map. The planetary fortress target firing Banelings, getting some great value there. But at the end of the day, Serral will overrun the planetary. Maru has not yet taken out this hatch, but he will be doing so with just a few marauders. Neither side willing to commit the majority of their army to a full-on fight. Widow Mines triggered on Broodlings. Whoa, that's a lot of corruptors. Yes, liberators are annoying, but are they 20 corruptors annoying? Apparently. Oh, the Widow Mines. Serral, able. Oh, more mines. He's holding the front line with them. Scouting and damage. What's not to love? Serral has rebuilt something of a bank, but Maru's still maxed out. What a game. This is more what we think of when we're thinking of the Infestor! How does he always... Oh my god, he gets the ghosts. And most importantly, the ghosts have to run at the start of the fight. They have to retreat. Even if he doesn't kill all of them, forcing the retreat before the fight even starts means that Serral has carved out much of that position. He cleaved away the Liberators with the Corruptors, and he forced the ghosts into a cowardly retreat that they naturally fall into with the Banelings. God. Like, if I didn't know better, I think those infestors have tactical jump. Or deep tunnel, I guess it's called for Zerg. But that infestor was waiting there for like 4 minutes. And it finally found its moment. The Widow Mine, oh no. Ooh. Serral, I saw the reaction to that one. Yeah. Especially since he was trying to defuse it. There's always another infestor. There's always another infestor. The scan. Oh, he still gets a fungal, but that one's gonna time out before too long. There you go. Good defusal. Maru still a little bit lower on the bank, but overall holding his ground quite strongly. This is the kind of game that could easily result in Serral running out of resources before actually breaking Maru. But he keeps aggressively expanding to Brendan. No! Why are you there? Another infestor. The Zerglings. There's a planetary covering. Oh, the turret's about to finish. I believe that infestor will die. No! Another fungal! How is this possible? Oh my god. And he wins. That's it. That was it. The 5th. Money fungal from nowhere. Maru gets 100 supply wiped out. Serral was waiting for it. One of them was bound to do the damage he needed. And I think like 27 SCVs and most of his army. That happened so quick. Well, Maru does drop 10 mules, but 100 supply wiped out across the field. In Serral's best fight of the game. Kills 11 ghosts. 34 ghosts have died. Serral comes in for another round. And Maru... Well, it looks like Team Basilisk is still in this series. Oh my. I don't know how he does it. It doesn't seem to work for anyone else. It's just one of those Serral details. The Widow Mines. Maru's out of money. He's got no income. Serral's still at 3k. He's still managing to find 2-3 bases to mine from simultaneously. There's a Maru. There's no way Serral from this position is going to drop the ball. Serral's like, "Are you gonna leave the game?" He's like, "Are you serious, Maru? We're gonna keep doing this?" He's like, "I'm gonna have to deal with like 12 more Widow Mines." All right. And here come the Corruptors actually. I kind of almost made fun of them, but they've clearly made the difference. It is one of those Twitch chat theory crafting things, which is like, just build 20 Corruptors to clear out the air. Well, it's because Serral is so cost effective with the rest of his ground army, like always having that one infestor. Oh, Maru, are you dead? Would you? Well, the ghost had energy for snipe, so he's not dead. He's mining with 12 mules on the gold, which gives him similar middle. There it is. GG! Serral, clearly ecstatic, over the moon. Not stressed at all. I'm not sure how we're coming. Those are their actual MMRs. I think that actually is just tracking how well they've done in the World Team League so far. Kind of a jam, but looks like a comfortable game 1 out of Serral. But that brings us, okay, what I just said, comfortable? That's not true. That was not comfortable at all. Oh my god, I need to Jimmy, please, the game. Maru has a water bottle that is approximately 1/4 Maru in size. All right, well, his minerals might dry up, but he won't. We got some interesting ads over here. Advertising for, oh my, we're really, apparently Chinese fans are way more literate, because even the ads just running right there. I don't know if that was like a short story or just a set of advertisements, but ¿por qué no los dos? That game could have gone either way. Serral got every money fungal with the infestors that he could have dreamed of. If just 1 or 2 of those didn't go quite as well, that can easily devolve or evolve, depending on which side you're rooting for, into a war of attrition that the Zerg eventually struggles to win. And we've seen the game before, like half a dozen planetaries, a couple dozen ghosts, enough liberators and widow mines to make it nearly impossible. Serral, what is this pose? What are we doing? We're doing like the... That's like I've played too many ladder games today. And I guess one more game. One more game. I don't know. He's frowning. It's just the idea of Terran existing. I get so distracted. This is why tournaments have the webcams, alright? I need to analyze Serral's body language here. That's much more important than whether or not the Reaper kills 1 Zergling. It's very hard with Maru, because Maru essentially looks exactly the same throughout the entire match. So the Corruptors. I need to come back to the Corruptors. That was something I haven't really seen. I guess it kind of plays into the earlier Spire as well, as he did have some air upgrades. So having the Corruptors in the late game, it just usually feels like dead supply. It usually feels like one of those things that you've now wasted 30, 40 supply. And you can't win a ground fight. But that's where the infestors pop up and save the day. Zerglings go down. Poking and prodding. No third CC yet for Maru. Is that true? Yeah, it's just going to be a 1-1-1. Reactored Hellions. Banshee. Cloak. Maru really focused on keeping that early pressure. Serral pokes. Sees the starport. He's like, wait a second. Oh, the Hellions. The Zerglings, though. Oh, what a beautiful. Just fans him out. Gets the surround. Knocks out the perfect micro from Serral. Simple, yet effective. Zerglings. More Hellions show up. Gonna get a surprising amount. So Serral getting a little bit of a bloody nose there. Well, more like a burned one, but... Barracks, double engineering bay. Lair on the way. Pretty quick lair for Serral. He's getting more gases now. Yeah, and once again, Serral still needs to win this game to keep his team in it. Though, looking good enough last game, I wouldn't be concerned. Then again, well, let's hope Serral wins this game. Alright, so that way we can get, very likely, another Maru versus Serral. Also on the team, I believe, Raynor and, Trigger? Is it for Team Basilisk? Probably should have looked this up beforehand. Well, we have Maru, and for onside is Solar. Your newest GSL champion, and Ryung as well. I believe they may have more players, but it is 3 players per match, and then an ace match. If it goes that far, of course. Wow, beautiful production line, in the literal sense, from Maru. Looking very nice, planned out there. Serral pokes at the third base. We've got 1-1 on the way for both sides. Maru's going to have it about 30 seconds quicker. Baneling speed about to complete for Serral. Double drop headed out on the edge of the creek. Zergling's already on patrol in the main. So, should be alright against any early drops. Serral not opting for mutas this game. Not that surprising, considering the map a lot less suited to it. A lot less likely to come flying in and surprise the SCVs on a pocket base. There's the Hydralisk Den instead. The much more stable ground-based option, but with a little less opportunity to do counter damage. Queens, get off my creep! Creep continuing to spread, but Maru has a lot of army supply on the field. And he's heading across, looking to pressure the third still. Serral just now going to see combat shield still kind of far off for Maru. I don't know if it was late or if he was just focused on all the other tech. But without combat shield, those speed banes are still a real danger. I mean, they're always a danger, but once you have combat shield, they can definitely survive more regularly. 1-1 is about to complete. Serral pulling back. I think he just noticed his time. And combat shield now done for Maru just in time. Serral setting up for a massive surround. I'm sure Maru knows that, but this is going to be a tough nut to crack here. Whoa, the Queen's taking some hits. Serral really trying to set this up. Right now, Maru isn't hitting anything of great importance, but he's working on the third, and reinforcements are on the way across the map. Serral is waiting for another round of banelings, but if he waits too long, the reinforcements will join up and make this much more difficult. Serral pulls the trigger at the last moment, and the Zerglings will surround the tanks. The reinforcements, he's dropping out Marines, trying to salvage this fight. Serral will clear up the tanks, but he won't. It's not an overwhelming victory. He just resecures that position. 2-2 is in production for both sides. Serral with a little bit of an advantage this time around. Maru stimming up. The medevacs are nearly out of energy. Siege tank in position. Serral already pre-splitting his Banes or to minimize the damage from the siege tank, but Maru is pressing forward. Starting to chip away at the hatchery. The Queen stuck in front. Zergling counterattack, looking for an opportunity, but I'm sure Maru has plenty on defense. Yeah, easily able to defend. The Zerglings and Banelings. Oh, the potential counterattack comes back for the flank. Zergling's pretty fast. Their metabolic's boosted. Speaking of boosted, the medevac's heading towards the main. Hydra's there to join him, looking for target fire. Doesn't quite get... Gonna get one of the medevacs with some of the Marines inside, making things a bit easier. Maru down 25 supply, starting to bleed out units. Serral, is there an infestation pit for a hive? That is the one piece of the puzzle we're potentially missing here. The Marines are stimming in towards the northern base. The hatchery already halfway dead. The medevacs are going to get taken out. Lings and Banes, he actually targeted the base. Maru with a win there. Serral. Oh, the high ground siege tank. There's no high ground vision for Serral. Beautiful positioning. Able to pick off an inordinate amount of banelings. The Zerglings are going to look to deal with that sooner rather than later. Infestation pit again. Same as last game, quite late, though he's got a strong mid-game army. Maru with a well-timed counterattack. Just as Serral was winding up for a potentially devastating blow on his third base, Maru comes in with enough Marines in order to drag the Zerglings and the Hydras back. And that buys him the time he needs in order to finish the planetary on his fourth base, as well as finish up the 2-2 upgrades in order to be able to trade quite well with the Hydraling Bane. And you can really tell, despite how well Serral's defended, his creep spread is pretty lackluster because Maru has been successful in pushing back both sides. Now loses a Widowmine drop. But that means Serral has to be very careful about when he chooses to move out on the map, as Marines and Marauders can easily gut his economy. More Banelings trying to come in. Serral is maxed out, but still unable to dislodge this easily, sending a lot of his supply across the map to the north. A huge drop is loaded up. A pretty big gamble here in the grand scheme of things. Widowmine dealt with. I believe 4 medevacs. Maru's thinking about it. There is an Overlord in position to spot it. Yeah, Serral doesn't know about the 4th, but it's kind of implied at this point. Massive drop in the main, gonna drop right on top of the Zerglings. Trusting the medevacs to get the job done, but I think this has been a costly one. Well, the Zerglings, he's targeting down the medevacs. I don't know about this. Maru, a bit optimistic. Manages to get 1 medevac out, but overall, didn't really get much done. He wasn't doing anything else really on the map at that time. He comes up to the top right, knocks out a burgeoning hatchery. The Widowmines end up doing just as much damage to the Terrans as the Zerg, and Serral is pushing back. Another Widowmine. No! No, no, no! God, that's annoying. Serral unable to take that base. He has to go deal with it, and that means he's going to lose the top base. Serral's attention is being taxed dramatically, which is tough to do with someone with 600 plus APM. Widowmines, just a full spread there. Explosive butter. Serral finds the target fire onto the Hydras. The Zerglings will take out the base. Adrenal Glands is on the way. Mine shot ends up killing a clutch of Zerglings. He doesn't know about the base to the left side. And that means Maru's still at 200 supply. He's been doing a great job in keeping it together here. And by keeping it together, I mean he's keeping a lot of pressure on Serral. It's more like Serral's been doing an okay job. Wait, did we just have a full rotation? He just did musical chairs with orbital commands. He lifted the main to the natural and the natural to the third, and he still has that base on the outside. The ghosts are leading the charge. Not bad at fighting straight up. We don't mind. Serral has lurkers, but they're all to the north side here. Another base will go down as Maru continues to press the point home. He keeps the creep spread back, and Serral can't seem to get outside this kind of first quadrant of bases. I don't know. It looks like both lurker upgrades about to complete. We don't mind. 5 more drones. Serral looking pretty stressed right now as well. He's leaned a lot closer to the screen than we started. Hydras, Lings, Banelings, oh my. I don't know how many Vipers are on the field. Burrow and an Infestor on the way, but remarkably late in the grand scheme of things, considering how important they were in the last game. We don't mind dealt with, but the Bio Ball, Maru has a comfortable foothold on these bases. If he had a planetary in the bottom left, it'd be even more comfortable, but it looks like the Zerglings are going to force a cancel on that. A single lurker. Oh, will he use the Banelings? No, he just cancels. He's going to try to buy some time by not lifting. Keep the Zerglings busy. Serral diffusing the mines. +3 plating for Maru. Rarely do you see that, especially alongside +3 infantry armor. +3 mech plating, making it that much harder to kill the mines and the medevacs and the incoming liberators. But Serral is maxed out. It's been a harder effort and a longer road than in the previous game. But he is maxed out with quite a bang. As we go into the late game, we see it's going to be lurkers instead of ultras this time around. Six lurkers on the way, joining however many are on the field right now. +3 ranged attack for Serral, as well as +3 melee. He's already got the Carapace upgrade. Changelings. Oh, got him. Things slow down as we reach that stage of the game where both armies are so dangerous. You have to be very careful about where you commit your units. 2 Vipers in production. The Zerglings looking for the surround. Slicing through this planetary in the bottom left. Serral takes out another base, starting to do what Maru's been doing to him throughout most of this game, which is just keeping him back and busy. So much so that it's almost impossible to counterattack. There's the fusion core. Unlikely for advanced ballistics and Caduceus reactor. Seven lurkers. Serral, the Infestor. The Serral Fester. Waiting for its opportunity, waiting for its moment. Who knows? Eventually it will find it. It could be 20 seconds or 20 minutes from now. Cloak on the way. I assume that's for Ghosts. Kind of surprised he didn't already have it. Both players banking money. Again, things slowing down. All the upgrades getting filled in. The lines being drawn almost directly in half the map. The Vipers. Parasitic Bomb. I think the Vipers the stand-in for the Corruptors this game. Parasitic Bomb and Blinding Cloud. Probably mostly Parasitic Bomb for this stage of the game, to help clear out or yank out the Liberators. Hydras do provide some anti-air. Some Overseers. Oh, God, he has that Infestor. Serral says, you've got both sides well defended, so I'm going to go straight up the middle. And most of the army here The heart of the swarm is now going right towards Maru's production. EMPs do end up hitting the Vipers, but the Zerglings are ripping apart the Rex. The Lurkers are in place here. And, well, they're cleaned up rather easily. Looks like the Zerglings didn't do that much in the main. Probably could have been working on the add-ons a little earlier. He killed 3 barracks, which is something, but easily replaced. Another planetary gonna go down. Lurkers and Zerglings combining. Engineering bay researching building armor being targeted by the Lings. So Serral catching Maru a little off guard there. He drops 19 SCVs, which is probably a good thing for Maru at this point, as that means his army supply is going to be massive. He's at 136 at the moment. Banelings rolling in. Building armor. Definitely. Oh my god, almost saves it. 12 SCVs. Alright, you don't really want to drop under 50. I'm going to need to replace some of those, ideally. Serral with 8,500, 5,100 in the bank. He's lost 500 Zerglings. Building armor's now done. Advanced ballistics as well. Income dramatically in favor of Serral, as Maru has been denied multiple bases recently. The Infestor, the Serral Fester. He's running out of time before the missile turret's finished, though I don't think he sees the one on the other side, which is a bit awkward. Oh, the scan, he spots it, but he still gets the fungal! And the Banelings roll in, but the Venn diagram of overwhelming freedom absolutely pincushions the Hydralisks. And the Liberators hold the line. The Hydras are just not enough. Anything terrestrially bound is vulnerable to the Terrans, as Terran is just one eye from terrain, and that is what they use most regularly to win these fights. Serral struggling to really engage the army. Without the Corruptors here, you can see the overlapping Liberators. Oh my god! Liberation is at hand and everywhere else. God, the Liberators are covering absolutely everything. He needs either Corruptors or somehow to catch this out of position. Serral is maxed out, but looking impotent against that sort of army. Liberators will have to spread back out. He ideally wants to repair him. Remember, he has +3 armor. Oh no! Maru losing several of his medevacs in the middle of the map. He's played a great game thus far, but as he approaches towards the finish line, ends up struggling to close it out. Serral, not easy prey here. Still maxed out, and now Maru. Oh, Serral. Oh no, Serral sat up. Oh, now it's serious. Serral is actually mining 0 gas, as the observer pointing out there. I mean, he has 4K in the bank. I don't know if he was pointing out he's mining 0 gas or he has 4K in the bank, but both are kind of relevant. The burrowed infestor on the high. Let me at him! Yep, don't mind me. Alright, here come the Hydras again. Still quite a choke point. Parasitic Bomb. The Hydra's just struggling. +3 plating, really helping out. It doesn't do anything against the Parabombs, but the Hydras are not cutting it. Meanwhile, though, Maru is bleeding out supply. It can't be understated. Like, this is a war of attrition now. And Serral has more resources. God, the Infestors just waiting for their opportunity. This is when somebody makes the obligatory Twitch chat comment about, why don't you just build a Raven? And occasionally players will, and then immediately lose it to Hydras and never build a Raven again. Also, it requires a tech lab on a starport, as well as a pretty significant amount of gas. Most players will deal with the Brood Infestors by pre-splitting their army, even while moving across the map. It's just Serral he seems to find that exact timing when your army is clumped up. Like, Maru might have his army split throughout 95% of the game, but it's that 5% that Serral always finds. That one moment right before you fight, but aren't quite there yet. When your units, you're not paying quite as close attention to those units. He knows exactly what he's looking for. Maru is not maxed out. Serral has money in the bank again. I don't know how he does it, but he does it so well. Zerglings, yeah, that base already a planetary. Zerglings no match. Orbital on the other hand. Well, there's a planetary next to it, conveniently. Serral, it's 140 army supply for Maru. The Ghost Liberator here. 7 Liberators. More in production. Widow Mines. Serral. Gonna lose yet another hatchery. The Infestor deep behind enemy lines. Serral's still on Hydraling Bane. Honestly, I don't know what you would use at this stage, outside of maybe those Corruptors we saw earlier. But Maru is starting to stabilize. He's maxed out with a larger army. Serral's going to try to engage anywhere else. The planetary taken out, limiting Maru's economy and making it so he has to, he can't replenish this army. Seems to be Serral's tactic. It worked last game. And, well, oh my god. Oh my. That is so many Liberators. Got freedom? Serral looking, you can see him contemplating a way to engage this. Parasitic Bomb is not going to do much. Those Liberators naturally spread out. Maru is starting to bank up money during this as well, so the longer Serral takes to deal with it, the harder it's going to get. Maru, well, here comes Serral. The Vipers gets a couple EMPs, Baneling's rolling in, Hydra's starting to work their way through, but there's no detection. Maru loses a lot of supply, but Serral loses more. And the problem here is, the most important units live. The Medevacs, the Liberators, and the Ghosts are all still alive. Serral has lost 13,000 more resources. More minerals. I don't know how much more gas. Serral's broke. He's building 14 Lurkers, which is not a great counter to Mass Liberator. Feels like Serral is almost facing down checkmate. Maru built the right arm, and this time around there was nothing to deal with the Liberators, not directly. I gotta say that the plating upgrade has Maru done it. He only needed one win to secure the victory for his team. And he survived 26 minutes of Serral. And I think if he can survive just one more, he will claim that victory. Got him down another drone there. 37 drones. It's 18 drones left. He's dead. He needs the best Fungal he's ever gotten. And then he needs 3 more. That last fight, Serral lost over twice as much. He's gonna go for everything here. Serral fighting. EMP lands before the fight even starts. The Liberator's gonna preset. EMP, nothing for the Vipers. The Liberators will siege up, and Serral taps it out. Maru claims victory for his team. Oh, a tough one. And he will now claim that juicy... Serral immediately turns off his webcam. Can't blame him for that. But that's the final set there. Ryung, 1-1 against Raynor. I think a defining characteristic. Solar, 2-0 against Trigger. And overall, congratulations to Onside Gaming in their victory. And honestly, well, Maru looking a lot better than we saw in GSL. Just pretty amazing overall. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you again to the World Team League for allowing me to watch that match directly. And I hope you enjoyed something a little different. Let me know what you think of the casting over the recorded feed as opposed to replays as well. I think it adds some, though it is a little different. Congratulations to Maru, finally reclaiming some of that dignity. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck. Have fun. Like, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.